Next, we'll see how to remove an item at a given index. If that button isn't tall enough, you can make it a little taller. We can actually take a lot of this code, all of it here, from inserting at a certain spot to remove at a certain spot. And where it says items.insert, we'll do items.removeAt. Remove at. And then we only need the index as our argument. It doesn't matter what we're getting rid of. We just need to know, okay, at what position or what index, where do we want to remove an item? Otherwise, the rest of the code is the same as inserting at a certain spot. So I'll type in an index value for that is jelly donut. And now it is gone, and everything else in the list shifted. If I type in 2, that's bear claw. It has now been removed. So that is remove at. You need to know the index value of what it is you want to have go away. And I'm going to put the focus in that text box for txt index. Not sure why I took the clear part away. Probably should have left it there. All right, next selected item and selected index. That is what is actually highlighted if someone has clicked into the list box. You don't need .items for this one, so it's just your list box .SelectedIndex. And that returns an integer value from 0 to whatever the last index value is. So now I've just selected strawberry cheesecake right there. That is at index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, selected ice cream. That's at index 5. Snickerdoodle is at the last index, index 6. The last index is always one less than the count. Right now, I'm not going to select anything, and the selected index is -1. Whenever the selected index is -1, as programmers, we know nothing has been selected. That might not make much sense to users, so we probably would need to give them a message to let them know that nothing has been selected. They wouldn't understand the -1. But for us, -1, when it's selected in a message box, tells us nothing has been selected. So we only want to tell them the selected index if it is not -1. Otherwise, we need to tell the users to select a dessert in the list, or whatever items you have in your list. So that's the message that the users receive. There, the selected index is 3. But whenever the selected index is -1, that means that nothing has actually been selected. Another thing we can check is the actual selected item. I'm going to copy and paste the code we have for selected index. That returns an integer. This is going to return the object of what's been selected. So I'll say the selected item is, and instead of selected index, we'll say selected item. So now when we select on an item, jelly donut, it says the selected item is jelly donut. Now the selected item is snickerdoodle. We're not told the position, that's selected index. We're told the actual selected item. And again, because selected index returned -1, and that's how our if is set up, we were able to tell the users that they needed to actually select an item in order to find out what it was. Selected item does not return a string. It returns what's called an object. So if you leave it all on its own here, you would have to use the .toString method. There's that red squiggle that comes up. So if I just have that all by itself, I am going to have to bust out .toString. The reason that wasn't an issue before is because I had smashed it together with another string literal in quotation marks. We're back to design time now. If we double click on a list box, Visual C# by default is going to give us a selected index changed event. That's not really the event I want to code right now. I want to write code for when users double click on an item in a list box. So we're going to go to the properties and click on that lightning bolt. That's going to give us events. Right now we have properties. That's what you've always seen. The lightning bolt is events. Next door to it are the properties. You can toggle back and forth from them. We want to go to double click inside the events, which again we got to see when we clicked on that little lightning bolt. Great. This is what we want. I'll have a message box show up when they double click on an item, and it will tell them that they have double clicked on this item. So you double clicked lstdessert.selectedItem. And this will be triggered when users double click on an item in the list box. So double click on ice cream, they're told that they double clicked ice cream. Double click peanut butter cup, they're told they double clicked on peanut butter cup. So again, that lightning bolt can take us over to the events. Next door to it are the properties. And probably that's our first look at it in this class. And that's how we can get to other events for an object or a control that aren't the ones that Visual C# gives us by default.